Well, we don't have a lot of time, Harbin, so I'm just going to hop to it and spit on that thing here and get it going. What do you think?
What I think is, I don't know if I can say it on air, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Well,
No homo.
this is true. Hashtag.
Sorry, it's June. My fault.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So we have very little time here. We're going to do a short episode. Tennessee's in the College World Series Finals. Unbelievable. Um, I am leaving 7 a.m. in the morning on a plane from Asheville, North Carolina, former home of Veronica Corningstone, and heading to first stop is Chicago, Illinois. Second stop, Des Moines, Iowa, and then in a rental car to Omaha, Nebraska. So, negative Nease will be in attendance at Charles Schwab Field or Stadium, whatever it's called, in Omaha tomorrow night. First, before we get going, Harbin, I need to congratulate you. Celtics, NBA heavyweight champions. How do you feel?
They were the best team in November, and people didn't like it. They were the best team at Christmas. They were the best team at the All-Star break. They were the best team entering the playoffs, and then they had statistically one of the best modern playoff runs the NBA has seen. They only lost 3 games. The numbers are pointing that this is one of the best Celtics teams of all time, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I feel that way. May need to settle in a little bit, but I think 10 or 15 years from now, when we look back on this team, I think a lot of people are going to think about that even more, especially since every single rotational player they have is under contract for next year, which is huge. But yeah, it was incredible. Um, First time in 16 years. So I was 10 years old the last time they won. They won the day after my birthday in 2008, and they won the day after my birthday this year. Um,
Nice.
Wherever Big Montana's hiding out, me and him celebrated together. We were texting back and forth, and yeah, man, it's Title Town. I would wear all of them, but I've only got 10 fingers and there's 18 of them. So,
It's 18 world titles for the Boston Celtics, most in NBA. So it is definitely Beantown is Titletown when you think about it, to be honest.
there is.
They used to call it Green Bay, Wisconsin, but I don't think that's true anymore. So yeah, between the Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots,
And
Bru-
bro,
Bruins. So there you go. But let's see very quickly before we talk Tennessee baseball. U.S. Open was last weekend. One of your boys from the Live won, Bryson DeChambeau, and just an incredible shot on 18 to clinch it. Did he win it or did Rory lose it?
it was a little bit of both. That closing stretch at Pinehurst, especially with how they had that place set up, is unbelievably tough. Um, the par three down the stretch, I want to say it's 17, 17 or
Yes,
16.
I think so.
I mean, they're playing it from 205 and only 40% of the green is landable. That's not a huge green. That was the one where Rory bogeyed. He hit it over the back. I mean, he hit damn near a perfect shot, and it rolled like 6 inches too far, and then all of a sudden he's in fescue. Um, I'm one of the biggest Rory haters on the planet. I give more credit to Bryson for winning it, especially with him only hitting what 4 fairways on the day. You hit 4 fairways on Sunday at the U.S. Open, and you still win. That's called grind. Like that's all that is. Um, we're not doing a hater and loser because we ain't got much time. But Rory McIlroy is my hater and loser of the week because he was off the property 6 minutes after Bryson's ball went in on 18. Um, Show some class if you're gonna voluntarily be the face of the PGA. Last month at the PGA Championship, when Bryson came in second after Xander beat him, he was the first person to shake his hand on 18 green besides Xander's wife and family. It's bad luck, whether you like Rory or not. But credit to Bryson DeChambeau. I bet him at plus 1,600 Wednesday night, so that was also a sweet little surprise.
Nice. One very quickly on that U.S. Open. I know there was a lot of chatter last weekend about the top four that were picked for the Olympic team, and of course Bryson and maybe some others weren't on there because of how the point system and world rankings and all that stuff's going right now because of the two different tours and how they're set up and everything. But Chad Grubb and I talked about this. Bryson, he came out and he said, "Hey, look, I made a decision and I got to live with it to go to that tour." Because I think they all knew the consequences of going over there potentially. Maybe one day it'll change. I think there's going to have to be some give and take on both sides, to get that to change. But it is kind of a shame he's not going to be in the Olympics, but it is what it is, I guess.
Uh, I actually had this conversation with somebody that has a lot of golf knowledge, and I agreed with what they said. He said now that the Olympics have golf, he thinks that every Olympic year, whoever wins the U.S. Open should automatically be in it, no matter who it is. And I kind of agree with that. Obviously, if they're American, if you're an American and you win the U.S. Open in an Olympic year, you should automatically qualify no matter what. And I don't hate that idea. But in my opinion, you just have to take the four guys that are playing the best golf at the time, no matter if you love them, if you hate them. Like, this is still one country, and we all want to win. So Wyndham Clark hasn't played worth a shit since March, since he lipped out on 18 at Sawgrass to lose to Scotty. In the three majors so far, he has missed two cuts and made one cut on the number and then came in DFL. Um, I understand it's point system. That way there's no opinions, but somewhere that point system's broken because there's not enough recency put into it. Like, I mean, I'm totally cool with Scotty and Xander, but Morikaw's been playing good golf, so you can't really argue him. But Wyndham, no. No, there's no way you can have Wyndham in there. You got to have somebody different. I'm not even saying it's Bryson, but you got to have somebody different in there than Wyndham.
It's definitely an issue that they're going to have to. Maybe they don't ever figure it out. I don't know, but I mean, if we want to get the best players in the Olympics, they're going to have to figure it out because it's not going to happen right now. So, let's see. Very quickly on my end, a big win in softball last night for the Mascot Mafia over the failing Knox Cox, 16-11 in the tournament. So Mafia move on to the final four of the winners bracket. The Cox go down to the losers bracket, where they will face elimination on Tuesday night. And also, shout out to, I don't know this guy at all. I've never really met him, but Cheeseburger, whoever you are, Cheeseburger drilled me in the shin last night on the mound when I was pitching with a line drive back up the middle. And it hurt. It hurt real bad. And apparently I made some kind of a whimpering noise when I got hit. I don't remember. I didn't hear it on the replay. Wes Schultz live streamed it on Facebook. I went back and watched, and then nobody sent anything, so nobody could hear it. But apparently I made some kind of a whimper or squeal noise or something, but it hurt. And I've got 3 red marks where the stitches hit my shin last night. So, boys, I've been hit with some balls batted back to me on the hold on, let me finish. I've been hit with some baseballs that have been line drived back to me on the pitching mound. This is the worst one. It hurt last night, but I fought it off, got a couple hits, finished the game. Mafia wins 16-11. So I think we play Tuesday night. If we win, we play Thursday. If we lose, I think we play again Tuesday night, or vice versa. I can't remember. Whatever. All right, Harbin, this is the big deal. Main event here. For the first time in this show's history, we've been going since mid 2020. The Tennessee Volunteers in a major sport are playing for a national championship. Tennessee, in dramatic fashion, a little bit, got to the Men's College World Series final. Texas A&M kind of ho-hum their way over here. They had a tight game with Kentucky in the first round, but both teams probably right now the best two teams in college baseball. They're going to face off against each other starting Saturday in Omaha, Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Omaha time. Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Omaha time, and Monday night, if necessary, I think it's 7 Eastern. So, first off, thoughts on that Florida State game? Tennessee has to come from behind. They were at one point down 9-4, and they get it to 9-7. Florida State pushes it back out to 11-7. We get it to 11-8. Tied in the ninth. End up walking it off in the ninth. Probably, and I tweeted this, one of the great moments, not in Tennessee baseball history, but Tennessee athletics history. Thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, I've got to totally agree. I was working during that game, but obviously we had it on. We had the sound on. Place was packed out for it. Um, Very rarely in Tennessee games do I write off Tennessee. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't feel great about this, but very, very rarely do I write us off. And I'm gonna be dead ass honest with you. About sixth inning, I was like, yeah, we're cooked. This is over. Um, Florida State had all the momentum. Um, we couldn't throw it over the plate. Felt like it was exaggerated, obviously, but felt like we couldn't make a defensive play, especially when it mattered. Um, and then all of a sudden, magic happened. We got a couple here, a couple there, and Christian Moore had. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say a top three single game performance in Tennessee athletics history. You go 5 for 6, hit for the first trip. I mean, for the first cycle in College World Series history since like 1956 or whatever year it was. It was in the 50s. Um, and then after you hit for the cycle, you're already 4 for 5. You get a chance in the ninth with your team down two, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he got to a 2-2 count. He got down to 2 strikes, and he literally looked at the dugout and was like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he was like,
I think he said, "Let's fight."
he said,
Or
let's fight, or we're
I'm
fine.
or I'm fine or something like yeah.
But I mean, he was calm, cool, collected. He looked like a stone cold killer. So he did, and he delivered. Hit a double. Um, then obviously Blake Burke with the fireworks at the end. It was unreal. It was one of the best comebacks in Tennessee athletics history, especially in my lifetime. Um, it was probably the second game in Tennessee history that in my lifetime that I'd completely written us off and we pulled it off. The first one would be 2016 Georgia when we threw the Hail Mary. Um, but yeah, incredible. And it's so important to win your first 2 games in Omaha. We stated that the last show.
Right.
If we'd have lost that game, then you got to play who would have been Virginia.
Virginia.
Got to play Virginia just to be able to play
The loser of Florida
Florida
State,
State,
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina,
Yeah.
which both of those teams are very good. We've already seen that. But the fact that we got Carolina when we were 1-0, and then able to get Florida State, and knew we only had to split with them if we had to play them twice again. It's huge for confidence, because like you kind of have a little bit of cushion, you know. But yeah, I'm super excited. A&M's obviously good. I think these are the best 2 teams in the country, in my opinion. A&M was one for the majority of the year, or at least a decent portion of it. It should be a hell of a 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, both these teams have been top 5 all year long. They kind of flip flop middle of the season. Tennessee jumped them, but they've been right there the whole time. Um, I agree with you on the. I don't know if it's top 3, but it's definitely in the top 5. I'd have to sit down and think about all the performances individually that I've witnessed. I mean, you think just this past basketball season, some of the games Dalton Connect had, and then think back in the Rick Barnes era, the Grant Williams game at Vanderbilt.
I'm
The
talking. I'm talking about like what he did at the
right,
stage he was on, though.
I got you. Yeah,
Like I wanted to say Jalen Hyatt against Alabama, but even as
yeah,
great as that was, regular season game. This was in the World Series.
yeah.
Like when it mattered the most, when we needed it the most. That's why I said it'd be
I
tough.
it probably, to be honest, I mean, I think you would have to. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, you got that Peerless Price game in the Fiesta Bowl, and then you've got maybe some of Candace Parker's performances in the NCAA championship, or even going back to. I mean, I don't remember enough of it to know, but like in the mid-90s when the Lady Vols won 3 in a row, some of the Shamiqua Holtzclaw or Tamika Catchings performances. I don't know if they had a game where they just were super clutch and like took over. If it was a team thing, I just don't remember. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Jalen Hyatt versus Alabama. I know it wasn't for a title or anything, but it was 3 versus 6. All eyes in America were on it. I mean, he has probably the best game in Tennessee football history, you could argue. And then, but that Christian Moore, just the stage and the intensity of it. Um, I was watching the game at Slagle's the other night, and I kind of secretly, I was like, man, I don't see this happening down 3 runs. I kind of got a little hope when we got it to 9-7. They pushed it back out to 11-7. It was kind of like the air went out, but this team just doesn't, they don't ever stop. And they're so hard to get out. They work counts. It's just so hard to get out. And I told Slagle right before the 9th inning, I said, this team or this program, not this year's team, and they do, but this program's got a knack for the dramatic. I mean, you just think about some of the wins they've had at the Wright State game, a couple years ago, the Georgia Tech game in 22 here in Knoxville, where they're down like 2 runs or 3 runs going into the 9th and have this huge rally. I mean, just think they've some of the regular season games against Vandy and Arkansas over the years where they've hit dramatic walk-off home runs and these just crazy endings. So this team hasn't, under Tony Vitello, or this program has a knack for the dramatic. And I kind of jokingly said when Blake Burke came up to bat, I said, moments like this right here, what they make statues for. Now, I'm not saying they'll make a statue because he got a 2 RBI single to tie a game in the 9th in Omaha, but he's thinking about Warren Morris hit a home run to walk off Miami in 96, and he has a statue of him. I mean, the guy was his first home run all year. But it's moments like that that immortalize you in athletics history at these places. And I don't know that you can immortalize just one of them from that game. But if Tennessee goes on to win 2 out of the next 3 games, there'll be several players immortalized in Tennessee history for their performances this season, especially here in the postseason. But what do you think, Harbin? Do we do this thing or not? Do we win the national championship?
Yes, yes, we do. And Vegas thinks we do as well.
What's the odds? I haven't seen them.
On the series, Tennessee is minus 210 on the money line, and Texas A&M is plus 165. That is according to Penn National. As far for game 1, Tennessee's minus 180. The run line is minus 1.5. You can get that at pretty much even money. The odds are in our favor. And I just, for one time in my lifetime, when the odds are in our favor, just go and get the damn thing.
Just go do it.
Just win the damn game.
Yes.
Like
I wish I had a sticker with me, or I'd put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was kind of looking at some stuff last night on A&M. I think we have, as much as you and I on here and others across the board have, I don't know if it's been critical, but we've kind of worried about Tennessee's pitching. Besides that Florida State game the other night, which they really struggled, they had 9 walks, and the defense didn't help them out either with 3 errors. Pitching has been outstanding. I mean, Xander Seacrest has been outstanding. Kirby Connell's come in and been clutch. Nate Snead, except against Evansville, has been great. Cobb coming in out of the bullpen's been great. I mean, everybody's done what they needed to do. So Tennessee's got a little bit more pitching depth than the Aggies. And I think the only game I worry about is Saturday night because we're going Stamos and Causey, and they're going with their, I can't remember his name. I'm just all over the place, so I can't remember. But he, I think A&M will probably kind of have to do a bullpen game for 2 games. So it's kind of just going to be by committee. So I don't know if they do that tomorrow night. I haven't seen on Saturday night. But they've got one guy, their ace, and I don't have stats in front of me because I'm trying to get ready to get out of here. So I've heard a little bit about him. He's pretty good. But Jamie Arnold for Florida State was pretty good, and Tennessee still got to him a little bit. So it's doable with the way this offense is right now and the way they grind it out. I think Tennessee does this thing. I don't think they play Monday. I'm just going to say it. I don't think we play a game Monday night.
We'll see.
I could be wrong. There's something we talked about it last week. There's just something about this team. I text some people the other night. I was like, man, they just look like a national championship baseball team. They just look like it. Just the way they operate during the game, everything about them just looks like a championship team. And after that Florida State game the other night, I think I told Slagle, I was like, I don't think they lose the rest of the tournament. I just don't. When you come back from something like that, you just don't see teams fold up and lose that often. And I don't know. I just think there's something about them. I think they win tomorrow night somehow. And then I think they finish it off Sunday afternoon. And then they give me the day off on Monday to sightsee in Omaha.
I think if A&M gets up early, like not crazy or anything, but if they just have a lead through like 3 or 4 innings, and we come back and beat them, I feel like we definitely win game 2. Like if A&M, let's say they have a 2-run lead through 4 or 5, and we come back and beat them, it pretty much is like, we don't care if you get up or not. We're going to break your spirit, and we're going to beat you because we're better than you. I think they might fold in game 2. Obviously, they're not going to give up. They're playing for a national championship, but like the psyche might just be too much. In my opinion, that's what happened with the rematch of Florida State.
Yeah.
Like we had one of our, I can't say one of the best offensive performances because they put up 77 on UConn, but
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean. Like they
Yeah.
were up 11-6 or 11-7 on the 1 seed and still lost. And I truly think that, like, in the back of Florida State's head, they're like, I don't know if we can beat them. Because that, I mean,
Yeah.
we can acknowledge it or not, but a lot of the times we forget that athletes are humans too, and they think a lot like we do. You know, like if you throw your best stuff out there and it's still not enough, like obviously doubt's going to creep in. And they're obviously very big competitors, and they're still going to give it their all, but that doubt still creeps in. So momentum's huge, especially in college sports, because all these guys are between the ages of like 18 and 22 for the most part, and you're more vulnerable to stuff like that when you're at that age. But yeah, I truly think that we're the most talented team in the country, and we've got that attitude about us because we've been knocking on the door for 4 years,
Yeah.
and we've come up short for the last 3. Um, and you saw Tony Vitello's rant after Super Regionals. Obviously, there was other things that fueled that, but that dude is ready to get to the top of the mountaintop. And that trickles down into the program, especially all these upperclassmen, like the seniors and the fifth years on the team. Like they're tired of being regular season warriors and falling short. You know, now obviously that leads into the younger guys that are on the team that didn't experience that, that are getting to play. Yeah, I truly think that we've got enough fire in us, and kind of like that, we've come too far to lose now mentality,
Yeah.
and we're good enough to back it up. Um, I fully expect us to win the national championship. I don't know if we get it done in two, but I fully expect us to win. I really do.
Now, I want to say that I wouldn't be shocked if if this is 3 games, because these two teams are pretty even. I mean, you just look at the numbers; they're both like right there next to each other statistically. I just got a feeling that Tennessee takes care of this thing in two, and I hope they do. But if it goes three, it goes three. I still like our chances either way. But um, man, I'm pumped. I've always kind of wanted to go to the World Series. Finally getting a chance to go, and it's on this stage. I mean, it's one thing to go, when they're playing Florida State in the first round, which was one of the great games in Tennessee history, like I mentioned, but to go and be able to witness the national championship game and to maybe and hopefully see your team win a national championship in person. I've, kind of remember when I was freshman in high school when we won the BCS national championship in 98. And I remember that, and I remember pretty much everything about it, but I was 15 years old. So it's been a long time ago. And, we won 2 women's basketball championships since then. That was great. But that's been itself 17 years ago almost, or 16 years ago now, even since that. So it's kind of wild to me that I'm going to get to be there and fortunate enough to get to go and witness it in person. And I saw a stat, Harbin, and I don't know how true it is. I haven't got to research it myself right before we started recording, that according to, let me look it up so I don't misquote it here. According to Vivid Seats data, Tennessee fans are projected to make up 76% Charles Schwab Field. I sent that to my uncle, who's going to the game with me, and he said was listening today. I don't know what show, and they were guessing A&M would have a slight edge. Maybe that's because they're closer. I don't know. These are two pretty rabid fan bases. A&M's got a pretty big baseball following. Tennessee does now too, even though we're kind of Johnny come latelys a little bit. But I expect it to at least be 50-50. I don't know that either team might have an edge, but I'm very interested to see how much orange is in that stadium tomorrow night. Hope it's a lot.
I think there will be. I don't think it'll be three quarters, because I think A&M in general is weird. You know, they're cultish. Um, that there will be a good amount of them travel up there. Um, but dude, Tennessee could be playing in the national championship for underwater basket weaving
Yeah.
in Lake Erie somewhere, and we would have a ton of people show up to watch it.
I mean, I think that stadium holds 21,000, so 75%, that's 15,000. I don't know. That's, maybe I'll be wrong. That's a big number, but you're right. If we were playing for the chess national title in Egypt, I think we would have a bunch of people there. So it'll be interesting to see. So we both think Tennessee wins the national championship. So I'm going to announce that we're going to have, if Tennessee wins the national title, we'll have a special guest. Y'all probably won't care about that one. It's just longtime Tennessee baseball fan I want to have on to get his reaction. But if we lose, I promise someone, and I won't reveal who it is, that they can come on and publicly criticize me for attending the game. And if you listen to last week's show, you probably can put 2 and 2 together and figure out who that is. And that person was not happy with Harbin, by the way.
I didn't even say anything.
You said he doesn't write in cursive, that he talks in cursive,
No,
and you called him a gnat.
I was quoting him. Okay, I said the Nat thing. But you started this.
I did. It was
And
both of us. He
I
was mad
caught
at
all
both. He wasn't mad, but
I caught all the heat for it.
you did catch a lot. I caught some too, but I'm not in all these
I
Snapchat groups with you all. So
I caught all the heat for it, and you're the one that started it.
he gave me some heat. I'm gonna be honest. He asked if he could come on and have a chance to rebuttal our false claims, and I said maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we'll see if Tennessee loses. He says it's going to be my fault. So I
Well,
might.
if we lose, I'm on board with letting him be a special guest and letting him defend his name and tear you down. And I'm sure I'll catch even more
Fair,
heat. Fine, but
fair
I
enough.
just, yeah, I just made one little comment after you started this whole thing. So
It was me. I did start it, but
it is what it is.
all in good fun, right?
I mean, I agree. I don't know if everyone else does.
Well, true. It's
So
hard to tell. It's hard to tell these days.
it really is.
Sad. All right, Harbin. I'm gonna get out of here
Okay.
and go finish packing my bags because I've got to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning to head to Asheville, North Carolina, to get on a plane to head to the great Midwest,
Mm.
part of the country I've never been to. Hope to
So,
be back in Nebraska one day when Tennessee plays football there, but for now I'll have to settle for Omaha.
so you're landing in a flyover state.
Yes.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm not flying over it. I'm just landing. I'm driving through it.
Yeah.
Driving through a flyover state. There we go. Well, that's it for me. Harbin, you got any last thoughts before I get out of here and start packing again?
Man, it'd be really cool to bring a national championship in a major men's sport home for the first time in 26 years. It's the first time in 26 years we've even gotten to play for one. Uh,
Yeah.
that in itself is extremely cool. Um, just win the damn game. You know, you ain't even gotta go undefeated. Just win 2 out of 3 of them.
Just win the series.
I do have a question, and we may need to make an editor's note after this. Uh,
Okay.
how many times since it's been an 8-team format has a team that won the national championship gone undefeated, gone 5-0?
I'm sure it's happened, but I have no idea.
I mean,
I
I'm
know
sure.
LSU didn't last year.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it has too. But I'm just wondering, like, how common that is, because when
It's
you
a
really
good
think about
question.
it, I feel like it's probably not that common. You know,
Probably not, because you think these two teams that are playing in this are always probably for the most, I wouldn't say the best two teams, but they're obviously two of the top teams in the country. So it's going to be pretty evenly matched and pretty competitive. So I would say it probably doesn't happen all that often. Something we'll have to research.
we'll see.
Have to get what's his name from Van Pelt on here.
Sanford Steve.
Stanford Steve. Yeah, he could tell us. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you listening. I promised some people that we'd get an episode out here before I left. Whenever I get back home, I think Tuesday night is when I get home. So sometime maybe next week we can get an episode pumped out. Win or lose, we'll come back and kind of recap it. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll be posting stuff on the Section YY8 Twitter, so be sure to tune in there at Section YY8 on X or Twitter. Maybe some stuff on the gram. I probably won't post anything on Facebook. That's too much work. But make sure to follow us there to stay updated. I know some people out there, Sweatbee, former high school baseball teammate of mine, Jacob Pratt's going to be out there. Maybe Ricky Householder, Slick Rick, got to talk to him. He had mentioned earlier in the week that he may be going. So a lot of loyal volunteers in Omaha. So Harbin, I appreciate you coming on for this emergency podcast.
What we do, bro.
Not really an emergency, but
What we do.
it's high level.
Absolutely.
This is big time. I mean, this is really big. Like,
I mean, this is pretty much the biggest moment in the show's history as far as Tennessee. I mean, let's
true.
be honest.
It is. It is. I was kind of hoping the basketball team would get to the Final Four and that be our first big moment. Didn't happen, but I'll take this. I'm not complaining.
Absolutely not.
All right. Remember, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We post all of our stuff there. I'll get that posted here before we leave or before I leave. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media. That's all I got for Harbin. I'm Negative Nease. I'm headed to Omaha. Harbin's going to hold down the fort here in beautiful Straw Plains. I hope Aubrey's is lit tomorrow night
It
and
will be.
Sunday. And that's your responsibility is to get the Aubrey's and Sevierville lit as AF.
Ooh, no cap.
No cap. Bet.
Hey, no cap.
Bet.
Bet on it. Tell them.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody listening. This is Negative Nease. I'll see you guys in Omaha. And if not, I'll see you guys next week here on the Section YY8 podcast.